Previously on Echo.
Continue.
For Div and Short Rib, I need a Constitution saving throw, please.
What's your deal, Doc? Why'd you give up?
I didn't give up. I surrendered.
Don't be mad.
Now pulling in. Everybody to your stations. The representatives will see you now. And now, a word from today's sponsor.
This show is proudly recorded on Zencastr. When we first started recording our podcast, we had a lot of options. We needed a platform that could record and generate separate tracks and videos with a full suite of professional tools at our disposal. Zencastr does everything for us, and it'll do more for you. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code BaddieBards, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience as I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
Now let's play some fucking D&D. Okay. So the halls of the Aegis twinkle in the light of the sun, bright and luminous. And I will bring you guys back. Actually, you guys know where you are in the map, yes?
Yeah, I see us.
Okay, so this is where y'all are right now. I wanted to start you guys off here
kind
so
of
that way
on
everybody
the
has a
edge
frame
of
reference.
IOC space. If we just book it north, we can get the fuck out of here.
We're in.
So honestly, you don't even
IOC right now.
Well,
remember, this is a unincorporated, so unincorporated
yeah, I was
incorporated
supposed
space.
to. Okay, so this is where y'all are, and currently you are in the sparkling halls of the Aegis.
The sparkling halls of the Aegis.
The silence in the room is heavy, and it occurs to all of you that you're standing before the leaders of the IOC, the voices that the entire incorporated galaxy rely on.
Short
They're
is
here.
very quietly singing the song, "The Sparkling Halls of the Aegis."
Short was crying, and Short stopped crying.
Stop crying to sing. This is self-soothe. Yes.
Okay, all right. And as you're singing, the leaders of the IOC look over at each of you in turn. And some of them are looking at you more impassively and some with actual interest, like the astral elf. Or vaguely irritated, like in the case of Commissioner Zarek. The commissioner stands before you and looks at each of you again, and she steps from behind that half-moon desk and clasps her white gloved hands behind her back. In this, she sort of moves with a very stiff precision, like a soldier, and she snaps her heels to attention and paces in front of you, very stiffly, as though she can't relax. And she finally stops in the middle of the four of you, right before you. And she says, "Pet, Div, Dr. Mozaeya Bleak, and an unknown child. What an interesting company you are." And she kind of looks at each of you again and then rests her eyes specifically on Dr. Bleak. And she says, "Do you want to tell me how we ended up here? With 2 prisoners from the isolate on your tail and a child in your care? How did you end up on Mapis 66 when you were supposed to be on the isolate? And how did you survive the explosion?"
Can I roll insight on this commissioner to see what exactly her deal is? If she's hoping for an allyship, is she hoping for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll insight. We'll see.
I
Kicking
think
off
Pat's
strong with a
looking.
whopping 22.
Ooh,
cute.
Okay.
The dice
22.
are on my side.
So let me just for the funsies, let me roll for her. 17 is not going to cut it. The commissioner
and this is the
is
Yankee woman, right? The commissioner?
Yes, the commissioner is the Gith Yankee woman here.
Wunderbar.
She looks at you, Dr. Bleak, and you can see her face is very impassive. She's very stoic. But as you sort of have a stare down with this woman, the corner of her eye twitches just a little bit. And it's not an irritation. She doesn't even seem impressed, just vaguely interested. And from what you can tell, she is looking for answers, for actual answers.
Well, I'm afraid the story is a little bit less exciting than you're probably hoping for. Something crashed into the prison. There was a massive riot, and I am, at my core, a healer, a doctor, and a therapist, and am I to understand that, and she kind of gestures towards the two prisoners, these two are the only ones who escaped the isolate?
Some escaped with their lives, but not many. And even fewer escaped with their health intact. Most of these people will be changed forever. And that's if they lived. The fact that you three are the only ones who escaped is very interesting. Can you explain how that explosion happened at the isolate?
Admittedly, I was a hostage at the time of the explosion, so I didn't quite get any details. I can help.
Check.
Do I know that Div was the one who did all the bullshit with the gas leaks? I was with Pet, and Div ran back, and yada yada yada.
I mean,
They had she had to because of the fact that we were all on the ship, and then shooting.
Yeah. Okay.
It was pretty apparent.
I will say then, if I were to guess, it was perhaps one of these two. Couldn't tell you which one. They're both equally dangerously violent, and I will say that in my short time getting to know them, I think that I've made quite some progress, more so than in any of our indoor sessions. I do feel like some kind of outward excursion would be very good for their mental health. And so in their escape, they kept me as a hostage. I am very good at talking, and so I managed to stay, and she kind of gives a little curtsy, uncuffed. But since then, I think I've made some decent progress in turning them into rather productive members of society.
Oh my God.
And then the child was also there, and I have no clue what the fuck that is about, but, you know.
You see Short Rib, actually, you see one of the representatives, the Dowar, the penguin person, sort of peers over the half moon desk looking at you, and this person has a beak, right? Like, they have a beak as a penguin, but something in their expression is very gentle and very kind. And they say, "Yes, we noticed the little one. Where did you come from, child?"
Where did you come from, old man?
What's the penguin commissioner's name?
You don't know yet.
Okay.
You don't know yet.
No worries.
So
Sorry.
this is the penguin. This is the penguin representative. And Short Rib, when you ask that question, you hear them sort of make this chittering sound that you understand as laughter. And they say, "From the Proxima Centauri cluster. That's where I'm from. What about you?"
Actively trying to say the words that he just heard. The Proxima, the Roxapari, the what?
The Rocket Road Cafe.
The Proxima Centauri cluster. It's not too far from here.
Centauri. Can we go?
Maybe. If. And at this, the representative looks over towards the astral elf and then back at Commissioner Zarek and sort of frowns a little and sits back in their seat. And the astral elf stands and looks at each of you. They seem to be very determined to figure out whether or not you're actually telling them the truth. And this elven representative stands up and spreads their hands wide. They speak very softly, but with an authority that sort of makes everybody kind of like be quiet and listen up. And they look to you and say, "It seems we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. We brought you here because you survived." And they begin to walk around the Half Moon desk to be where Commissioner Zarek is with you guys now. And they say, "I am Ambassador Sovenis." And Ambassador Sovenis gives you guys a very gentle sort of smile. And they say, "We have a proposition for you. If you're amenable, with the exception of the little one." And the ambassador gives Short Rib like a little wink. And
Short Rib sticks his tongue out.
So Venice like full-blown smiles at that and moves on as they continue.
Pat just interrupts and says, "Short Rib's with us," and just stares at them.
The ambassador smiles again and says, "Oh, I don't think we're thinking of separating you so much as the three of you, Het, Div, and Dr. Bleak, have a very interesting history with the IOC, in that you really haven't got one. You're new here, it seems. So, with that being the case, if you had the proper support from the IOC, I'm sure it would do nothing but help you in getting on your feet again, especially after a stint in the isolate." And so Venice looks over at Pet and Div in particular, raising a brow before they continue.
Pet would say something, but they're not. I think they're repeating under their breath like 83, 83, over and over, and just listening.
And so Venice says, "We think that you're a good asset. We think you could be. And it isn't that we don't have security. It's that the four of you seem to have escaped so cleanly from what was very clearly a sticky situation. So how about a deal? You work with us at the summit, and we provide for your care and expenses here in Haven."
What sort of work would this entail?
What is the summit?
Do you ask that out loud, Div?
Do I recall anything about the summit?
History check with advantage.
Ooh, sexy. Okay, hold on. I'm trying physical today. Okay, so 15 is the first one. 14.
14? With that 14, it's not too hard for you to recall. It was a few hours past when y'all were still on Astra's ship trying to get to Mappus 66.
Mm-hmm.
You recall looking at the communications feed on the ship to pull the news of the day from the communicator. And you did remember hearing a piece about a summit there were very little details. You know that it had to do with the leaders of the IOC and the representatives of the different political parties in the IOC, but there was no location, there was no time, there was no date that was disclosed. So this is something that is being kept close to the chest. With that 14 as well, because you haven't heard anything about the summit, it's sort of flown under the radar. Even when you were running the scam on Mappa 66, nobody was really talking about it that much. You didn't hear any like cross chatter about it. It's just something that was sort of dropped in and moved past very quickly. So the information is out there, but there's also nothing known about what, when, where, or how the summit is happening. So this is privileged information right now.
So the summit is something that like political parties will go to, not like leading scientists in like certain fields or anything like that.
In this case, you do not know the purpose of the summit, so you can't be sure who will and will not be on the guest list.
Okay. Okie dokie.
And Dr. Bleak, you said what sort of work will we be doing, right?
Yes.
Okay. The ambassador looks to you, Dr. Bleak, and says, you will be protecting us, along with a few of our juggernauts. They are soldiers, not so much built for leaving a firefight. What we need are guards, security detail. This is a very volatile situation for a lot of reasons that we can't disclose. That's what the commissioner says.
Why?
And you ask the commissioner why?
Mm-hmm.
The commissioner looks down at you, Short Rib, and then says, privileged information that belongs to us, unfortunately.
But you need our help. So we can't know? What if we get hurt? We'll get hurt never knowing.
It would make our job a lot easier if we knew the possible motivations and tactics of those who are after you and why the situation is volatile.
The ambassador shakes their head and says, you misunderstand. We are not being directly targeted so much as the cavalry and the Confederation do not have the most friendly working relationship. And the last time that representatives from these parties were in the same room, a war broke out.
You can't just call them?
The ambassador gives you a small chuckle and she says, things are a bit more difficult than that. The ambassador gives you kind of a warm smile, Short Rib, and says, this is about running the government of a galaxy. It isn't as simple as a phone call, I'm afraid.
Short Rib, active, visibly rolls his eyes.
The ambassador smiles at that, but doesn't reply.
I think Pet just says, so this IOC has all this power in defense, and you're asking prisoners, a child, and a quack doctor to protect y'all?
A doctor.
Quack doctor? What is there really anything for us? What is...
You mean what's in it for you?
Yes. What's in it for us?
I was going to ask about the per diem also.
The commissioner gives a smile at that and kind of it's a very severe smile. It doesn't look as though she does it that often. And she looks at you, Short Rib, and says, plenty for a child. More zeros than you can count. And I'm sure having an apartment here at Haven wouldn't be terrible. I don't think you have many places to go. And furthermore, the availability of a ship, a haven ship, and free use of our hyperlanes to get wherever you need to get for whatever purpose you need to. We're not asking for your captivity. We are asking for your help.
Why should we ever help you?
Can I roll a history check to see what like the cavalry and the Confederation are about?
Please do. Please do.
That's a regular old 15.
Anybody who would like to please roll history about that, or anything you would like to roll history about.
I guess so I'm curious about whether I have come across like information with that. I guess my filter would be like cavalry and Confederation, but it having to do with the doc. Like, has the doc maybe like ever dealt with them, or I don't know.
Okay.
But that's where I'm going with that.
I'm just gonna roll history in general. Let's see what I can get.
17 for me.
17 for Div, 8 for Short Rib, 15 for the Doctor. What do we have for you, Pet? 15.
15.
So for Dr. Bleak and Pet, you have a very deep familiarity with the idea of the cavalry. Based on your history and the place you used to call home, the people that would come in and out of that place all the time were refugees from the IOC, people leaving because they were political dissidents, people who were following the cavalry, people who were trying to keep alive the gospel of the leader of the cavalry, which is basically that everyone deserves everything, and that should be good enough for people in power. And it's a little bit more complex than that, of course, but just the same, these are people who did not believe in the overwhelming power of the Confederation. You also know, you in specific, Dr. Bleak, would know that the Confederation has quieted down in the intervening years between the Great War and the Age of Peace. However, that faction, to your knowledge, has remained relatively constant, if not been slowly growing over time. For you, Div, you know that the Doctor was working with the IOC for a very long time, taking grants and all that good fun stuff. However, the Doctor was also an avid supporter of the cavalry. And the research that the Doctor was doing was supposed to aid the cavalry, specifically the leader of the cavalry, to give that person, he never gave you a name, but to give that person the best opportunity, the best weapon, and the best home base possible to build up their coffers and their numbers and their strength again. The cavalry was all but decimated after the Great War. So the fact that there are representatives of the cavalry coming to this summit at all is a historical event. It truly is. And for you, Short Rib, you are a child. So the intricacies of political leanings and history, that doesn't really register with you yet.
Can I use, it's the Ambassador Sylvanus that fucks with me, right? That likes me. That I've been having a camaraderie with, yeah?
The Ambassador is the nicer one of the two, yes.
Okay, then I'll take the nicer one of the two. Can I use Awakened Mind to ask for clarification?
Remind me what Awakened Mind does again. You can just ask a question in somebody or speak in somebody's mind, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alex about to pull up that sheet and
oh, sorry.
boy. Yeah, boy, about to beat this child.
True pain. Didn't even occur to me.
Counterspell.
The ambassador, let me roll. You want a high number.
Okay.
You rolled a 3.
Yay.
So this is what happens. When you
Remember, I'm a child.
Oh, I remember. When you use Awaken Mind to speak to the ambassador, you see them stiffen. And they have been very calm, very flowy. Their clothing is very flowy, like blue robes, and it's very sheer and light, and a breeze that doesn't seem to be flowing for anyone else. And yet, when you use that ability on them and ask for clarification in their mind, everything stops for them. They fully freeze. And then they look to you, and then look at the commissioner, and they say, "This child seems to have psychic." And then the commissioner says, "Yes, the captain told me about that." And the ambassador shakes their head and says, "That's very impolite, but I'll humor you because you're young." And then goes on to explain about the cavalry and the Confederation.
Okay.
For you.
Okay, I think.
But you can tell that bothered them a great deal.
Can I roll something to see if I clock that?
Insight, please.
I do not want to simply clock that.
Oh yeah, you clocked that.
Okay.
You know for a fact that that was a no-no for them.
Okay. I think Short Rib doesn't let on that she registers. I think we're just like there's a lack of awareness of the awareness that they are young enough to get away with things that they probably should not be doing. But that is what is happening. They just kind of are like, okay, well, eyes are glazing over.
Yeah, because for what it's worth, it's a history lesson. And I don't know a single child who gives a fuck about history.
I've met children that give a fuck about history. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Does Short Rib give a fuck about history?
I will say that Short Rib doesn't necessarily give a fuck about history, but Short Rib is definitely an absorbent learner.
So the 4 of you are here, and for the moment, at the very least, you have the ear and the full attention of the leaders of the IOC. What would you like to do?
Short Rib asks with his mouth, I guess, about how much. Asks the mean old lady what's going on with the exact numbers on that payment. What? So you said too many zeros for me to count. Could you help me?
The commissioner gives you a wicked kind of smile at that. It does not look pleasant. I promise you it doesn't. She's not a nice lady. And she says, "How does 6 zeros sound to you?"
I think Short Rib kind of balks because he's remembering having shit, like having his credits actively stolen from him cruelly, clean off of his body, and his very nice new bag getting taken from him as well. And it's just like, well, you gotta make sure you put it in a nice bag then.
I want that shit in cash.
I want to wear it.
The commissioner, like, full tilt kind of cracks up at that. Like, ha, 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 ha. A nice bag for the young one. And the rest of you, how does that hit your ear?
Okay, and if we
Which
say
number is in
no-
front of the 6 zeros? Is it a 9? Is it a 1? Is it an 8?
Let me roll a d10.
Oh.
A 5.
Oh, hell.
5? That's a pretty good number.
Is it?
So, just to get things straight, we are here to see to your safety at the summit.
That is all.
Sounds easy enough. 5 and 6 zeros sounds more than a fair price for making sure you stay safe.
We thought so. What say the rest of you?
What if we say no?
The commissioner goes back behind the half moon desk and sort of steeples her fingers together and folds them and says, if you say no, well, then you have crimes to answer for, then haven't you?
So, in addition to the credits, we get a full pardon. Our records clean.
Of course.
Okay, so question for the DM. I cannot recall, because I feel like I should have put it in my languages, but did you ever approve Dib and Pet having like their own version of Thieves' Cant, essentially?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to put that in my language. I can maybe have that. Well, then I'm gonna fucking look to Pet, and I'm like, this all just seems entirely too good to be true.
Oh, Pet is mad. Like, he is furious. He's literally trying to keep it together because he doesn't want to fucking work with the IOC at all. That is not.
They're talking in their own language. Doc suggests to Ford. We'll take that ship now, please, if you don't mind.
I'm literally, my face is just like, I'm trying to hold it in. Pet's trying to hold it in because.
Roll a deception check for me.
All right.
Can I get the help action somehow?
You explain to me how you'll do it and I'll let you know.
Can I? Damn, like I'm so much shorter than Pet too. I can't even like cover their
I'm like
face.
my hand. I'm explaining to you like my hands are like literally. You can hear. I don't have it on anymore, right?
Have what?
Like the little manacles.
The manacles?
that
Oh
you do.
no, you guys are free.
Okay, instead of that, you could hear the cracking of their beetle hands together as they're like trying to hold in very tightly about.
Maybe
Try
Dib will
not
kind of
to,
like cover up their hands. Like it'd probably be an awkward pose for sure, but kind of like step in front of Pet and have like their massive claws up, and so that way they can kind of just shield them a little bit from view. There's so
I
I'm like
will
looking at the
let
height
you
chart.
roll it with advantage. But I will also say that the commissioner has very good insight.
I'll roll again just to see like the advantage. If I'm gonna roll advantage, I got 16 first half, and then let's see what I get the next half.
Let's see.
Okay, I gotta stick with the 16.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The commissioner has, returned to her seat behind that table. And when you say, Dr. Bleak, we'll take that ship now, the commissioner says, are you sure? And looks directly at Pat. Doesn't seem as though everyone is amenable to this. And we don't have time or space for dissidents.
I think the IOC has plenty of space. It's kind of their thing. And believe me when I say that there are a lot of big personalities and big feelings in regards to this. And helping people sort through those feelings is my specialty. Things will go smoothly.
I kind of cut a look at the dog, but I think I turned back to Pet in our pink goon balloon cant, is what I'm dubbing it. And I say, this feels like a setup. But
This is a double jail. I do not like this.
I don't like it either.
I do not want to be trapped 2 times.
And we won't be if we can handle it. And we can.
But
I'll be honest.
Size.
I'll be honest. I want to get in front of the cavalry. Because I think the cavalry may be able to have information on Doc.
And Pet says, to Div and Thieves Camp. The first chance I get, all of them, they're going to go.
Every single one.
On site.
Let me just check something.
Every last one.
And
Every last one.
Again, while they're talking to each other, I think Short Rib is going to be like, yeah. So again, cash up front. At least half.
The commissioner smiles at that very wickedly again and says, as long as you say things will go smoothly, see to it that they do.
Does the great IOC have access to a zone of truth? If you'd like the assurances under magical obligations, I'd be happy to give them to you. But I'm very confident that things will go smoothly.
The commissioner gives you a very sharp nod and says, no need. So Venice, you can take them now. And the ambassador sort of begins to move again, that breeze in their clothing that comes from nowhere. And you see the ambassador steps forward and says, if there's nothing else, I'd be happy to show you your quarters.
Just one more thing.
Of course.
For future reference, if you're intending on giving someone a job, send a diplomat, not a hit squad.
The ambassador smiles and says, we'll bear that in mind. If you'll follow me. And begins to walk towards a different wall than y'all came in. And from that wall, a door sort of pulls forward and slides apart. And it's a different door than y'all walked into. So are y'all going to follow the ambassador?
Mozaeya will.
I think Pat finally kind of like shakes it off a little bit, knowing that they have like something that they're thinking about. And like, I think they're going to be the last one out, and just glances back at all 3 of them, memorizing who they are, and just smiles at them and just follows afterwards.
You see the commissioner meet your gaze and follow it as you walk out. And the ambassador leads the 4 of you through that door, over a long glass walkway that goes through a verdant, cylindrical indoor courtyard. It's huge. It's a fucking tower, right? And the trees are surrounding a circular pool of pale purple liquid, and they are thick-trunked and enormously tall, with vines curling around and betwixt one another, flowering and fragrant. This place has a heavy perfume of flora that envelops you as you walk down this walkway. And this part of the stronghold, the ambassador is taking you to a separate tower in this part of the stronghold with high ceilings and lush plants. And this part of it seems to be a bit more residential. The hallways are leading to individualized units, very much like the little pods that y'all saw on your way into Haven.
I think Short Rib goes up to Pet and is like, it's like the jail.
And I think Pat looks down. Are you up? Are you flying? Or are you walking?
I'm flying.
And I think Pat looks up at you and says, and just nods. It's just like the jail.
Short Rib, flies up, nears the ambassador, and kind of like goes back to like a walk, like
Do a little hop and walk.
Yeah, very fast. Yes.
The ambassador sees you sort of like walking beside them and gives you a warm smile and says, "And I'm sorry, we never got your name. What is your name?"
How does your coat do that?
The ambassador seems to understand that you don't know how to answer questions without turning them into questions, or that you're hiding something, and she doesn't press. And they give you a smile and says, "Magic." And just as you get to, just as she says magic, you see a smaller purple astral elf. Sclera is all black. And has very tall, pointed ears, little horns, like the little silicone horns, what have you. Body modded. Loves piercings, this one.
Yeah.
And so Venice hands you off to this smaller astral elf and holds out chromio cards to each of you. Pulls them from seemingly thin air and hands you these chromio cards and says, "You'll find your supplies in the apartment, and the keys to your ship are there as well. Please expect to hear from us in the near future. The summit is fast approaching."
Yes, in the interest of saving money, if there's any listening devices or trackers in the apartment or the ships, they will be broken. I would appreciate if they would be removed beforehand just to cut down on expenses for the IOC.
The ambassador sort of balks at this, and you see that caught them off guard. And then they sort of give this like tinkling of bells kind of laugh. And they say, "Oh no, we don't do that. Not in the stronghold. There's no need for that."
We about to find out, nigga. We're going to find out.
I'm gonna insight that.
Please do.
Can I do an insight too? Because
Absolutely, please
do not like that. We're already in a double prison. Look at you.
Not good enough. That's a 20.
do. It's funny.
I got an 8.
Oh, wait. Insight.
Got an 8.
Got a 3.
You got a 3.
I got a 14.
A 14.
Damn,
The ambassador
That's
rolled a
nice.
22, but it was a persuasion check. They're telling you the truth.
All right.
Dr. Mozaeya will just give a little bit of curtsy. Much appreciated.
Of course. Please enjoy Haven. And you see they sort of give you a small incline of their head and put their hands back in their robes, and they walk off through that same entranceway, down that glass walkway, and back into their office.
And the ship is ahead?
The ship is in the hangar bay. You guys have the rights to it, basically. They gave you the clearance for it.
Okay.
And that documentation is inside of the apartment, which is where y'all are.
Cool. Are we alone in the apartment?
Is there like a
Yeah.
specific name on the ship, or is this all of us listed on it?
They gave it to Pet.
Oh.
I also have a key fob, though. Short Rib was also given a key fob. What do I roll?
We all got keys, but it's under Pet's name.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's under
That's
Pet's
okay.
name, but
That
everybody
means I
has
gotta pay
access
the
to it.
insurance.
Yeah, so how it works is that because this is a spaceship, there's no key fob, nothing like that. But the ship in the hangar bay does not leave without clearance from the IOC, right? So because you have the documentation that grants you clearance to both use the ship and bring it in and out of that hangar bay at your leisure, you can just walk out into the hangar bay and take the ship whenever you'd like.
Okay, we're alone in the room, you said?
Yes, you are.
I think Mozaeya's gonna immediately move to like the front door and just lock that shit immediately. Like
They're just searching the apartment for
close the blinds, close everything,
Shit
and
that
then just do
shouldn't
a
be
real
there.
quick like bug sweep
Let's get some investigation checks.
Can I take out like? I'm gonna take like a.
16.
What do I have in my inventory? Fuck.
We don't have our weapons back, right?
Yes, those are actually in this room as well.
Okay.
Cool.
They're packaged in nice little containers, so all of you have your equipment back.
I'm gonna take like just like a. I'm gonna take like my dagger out and. Alex, would I be allowed to like cast the light cantrip? And it says I can pick the color. Can I? And it's okay if I get. Can I pick ultraviolet to like help me like do like a bug sweep of this place?
Oh, you trying to see the UV
Yes,
lights?
you can. What are we asking me? Do it this instant. I swear to God. Roll your investigation check with fucking advantage, you genius.
Awesome.
That's
That
incredible.
caught me off guard. Oh shit.
You about to see something else inside this place. What's the liquids counting?
That's only
Oh,
that's only
shit.
a 13 investigation, but I'm just like quietly just
I
like
got a
put it
16.
in.
A 17, a 16, a 5, and a 13. The four of you, you sweep this room. You sweep this entire apartment because it's an entire apartment. This is just a part of it, right? So you go upstairs, you go to the left, to the right, look in all the bedrooms and everything. There's nothing here. There's nothing to find.
Cool. Right. In that case, they will like make their way downstairs. Right. So we're not being listened in on. Whew.
Can I?
Shit.
Can I roll Arcana?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nat 20.
Yeah. Woo.
Let's go, baby.
Nat 20, beautiful. So with that Nat 20, there is a hum of magic in this room, but it's coming from you.
Okay. All right.
There's nothing else there's nothing else magical in the room, I mean.
Wonderful. Spectacular.
Good.
Right. First order of business. Don't call me a quack doctor. I don't like that shit.
You talking to me?
Yes.
Pet. Pet is, how do I explain it? Pet is not here. Pet is, when you say that to them, he just looks at you like the most emptiest, like someone who is not there, and moves to looking for his stuff. He needs to do something with his hands, because he in no way wants to help the IOC in any format, because of where he came from. That is not his life. This is kind of like the opposite of what he wants to do in this moment. So you saying that to him, he is not listening to you. He's going to go clean his gun.
I think seeing that Mozaeya will like look to Div and just be like, "What's with them?"
Can I insight Pet?
Yeah. Against your persuasion or deception. Pet, it's up to you.
Well, who's looking at me?
Me.
Div.
I feel
will
like
give it
that
to you
should
with
get some
advantage,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because I think
Okay,
it's very
better.
obvious that they're not here.
20 not nat.
20 not nat. An open book.
Okay, then I see that, and then Doc like looks to me, and I'm like, give Pet some space. But we have, I think, much more important things to discuss. Is there any like information in the apartment on like the summit, like a fucking, what are those things called? A DOS?
Oh, like a dossier?
Yeah.
In looking for like bugs and stuff, you didn't find anything else. This just seems to be an empty apartment.
I'm sure we'll be debriefed at some point later today. More importantly, steps forward.
Before you make decisions for the group,
I was opening it to discussion, not making decisions.
before you make decisions for the group, you need to run it by everybody.
Right, which is what I was doing. What do we feel the best steps forward are?
I don't just mean with this, I mean when you told them that we agreed.
Right. That was a decision that got us out of the room full of maybe the most powerful people in the known galaxy.
If I wanted to get my ass kicked by them, then that's my decision, though, right?
Yes, and if you wanted to endanger all of us, including Short Rib, doing it, that's bigger than you.
I'll beat him up.
Short
got
Rib,
it.
sweetie, we got captured 5 minutes ago by their lackeys.
Short Rib does not clock this. It's not. Yeah, I'll beat them up too.
Again. Yeah. Like, if you want to endanger your life, that's great. If you want to go out in a blaze of glory, that's great. This shit is bigger than you, though. We're also here. A child is here. So yeah, I made the decision that got us out of this dangerous situation and in a position where we can discuss what the fuck to do next. Is that a problem?
It is still a problem for me.
And
I
I'm
want to
happy to
always
discuss that
be
with
able
you.
to choose.
Wonderful. Choice is great. When your choices hurt other people in inadvertent ways.
You don't know if that would have hurt you, though, do you?
If we had gotten
You don't have a fucking record, and Short's a child.
a child that they very much shot at and hit the last time you and Pet decided to get into a fight.
A child they're now paying.
If we had walked back calmly to the place, however many hours it would have taken, Astra may have gotten a chance to get to us before the reinforcements. But because you two were itching for a fight, now we're here. At least that's my perspective. I'm open to other ones.
Wait, what? Wasn't it your idea to run to the scam?
It was. And weren't you the one, and I'll just look to Pet now, weren't you the one who was keeping an eye out?
Pat looks up to the doctor and just stares at them and just says, "You're very good at deflecting. What's the real issue here? We're here now. We're in this moment. Why is it always us? Where are you in the picture? You started the heist. We enjoyed it. It was a good one. But you failed.
And for that, I'm sorry. That's on me, and I take full responsibility for that. But when me getting us out of a room is seen as making decisions for a group, that cuts a bit.
I think Pat is like re-putting back their gun together, basically. Like it's like a two piece and everything, and like starting to get like, you know, the cleaning thing and everything together, and looks at the doctor still and just says, "I agree with Div." But I'm also, in this moment of time, considering your thoughts as well. And just looks down at their gun.
That was weird.
It's been a weird fucking day!
Right.
Div like screams.
It has. So, next steps. What do we want to do? Because they've lumped us together, and I feel...
I don't want to work for the IOC. I don't
We're
want to
not.
be here.
We are absolutely not. I think, okay, my decision, and she'll like lower her voice. My thinking is, the more,
Yelling.
the more they trust us to have their backs, the easier it is to stab them. It's, if we get in front of the cavalry, I think they probably have a few of the resources necessary to, one, take out the Confederation, and then two, maybe restructure the IOC.
We don't fucking know that. It's a miracle that the cavalry is even showing up in the first place.
It's a miracle we escaped the isolate. I feel like miracles
No,
are our specialty.
Not a miracle. We fucking... Okay, no.
I think Pet's like slowly coming into it and just saying like, we do have an advantage right now.
We have an advantage in that they are trusting us with their safety. If we fail, we don't get paid, but also if we fail, the leaders of the IOC might die. And so I feel like we're in a bit of a win-win situation here. It's either 5 million credits or dead IOC leaders.
Do y'all want me to call and ask if we can get our money up front?
Y'all did.
I don't see that.
Those were the Chromio cards.
Oh,
Ooh.
So y'all have 5 million credits on those Chromio cards. That translates to 500,000 gold, but 5 million credits ain't nothing to sneeze at. You feel me?
Is it all between us or is it each?
No, each.
Fuck!
Shorib has been saying everything that Shorib has been saying has been facing their communicator like an iPhone kid, like straight up trying to figure out how to get like a Venmo or like a Cash App situation to work to like open up a bank account as a child.
Pat just looks at the knows now that, and if it's up front, this is a lot more. There is a lot more going on here that we don't know.
And we need to find information. That out, I think, right now.
Look, the same page right there.
Yeah, we absolutely need to figure out what the fuck is going on. Why are they hiring, no offense, criminals and
another criminal?
Well, again, I don't have a record, so technically I'm just a lawbreaker. I'm not a criminal yet.
I have a record, but we don't know who you
You're
are.
a scammer.
They don't know who we are. We don't have. That's also our other advantage. They don't know any of us.
Which is
not
weird.
On their books.
They also don't know about our friend, who's currently on the outskirts and could
Good
potentially.
Me.
Exactly.
We're friends.
Pat looking at
Literally, dead-eyed look.
It's possible that resources on the outside might be able to look into the cavalry for us, and maybe we can coordinate on what best to do about the IOC. Again, this is all spitballing, so...
Don't we find it odd that the IOC they don't know about us?
I cover my tracks pretty well. What about you guys? I feel like you're, again, pretty accomplished criminals. I feel like you've done a lot to keep your pasts hidden, and before the isolate, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have much record on you.
Pet is just like the smiling.
My mom says I shouldn't talk to cops, and I don't.
If Pet's shook his head.
At least not out loud. What was the deal with the ambassador with the whole psychic thing that they mentioned?
They were talking so much I didn't understand, so I asked, and apparently I guess you can't ask how I asked.
You asked psychically?
What's that mean? What does that mean?
You asked not out loud, but inside their head?
Oh, yeah. It answers in your head.
Oh, that's a very good trick. Feel free to do that more, at least to me.
Short rib.
I'm just looking at how does short rib looks like when they're doing their magic. Like that's because like I know I'm looking at y'all, but I don't know how y'all are looking at each other because I don't have no magic. So this is like I seen it before.
What does
with
it look like, short rib? When you are speaking into someone's mind psychically, what are you doing?
Well, I think it just kind of looks like the feathers are kind of like puffing up a little bit, like kind of like when birds do that little like shimmy thing, and kind of like after they like get wet and they're like kind of shaking themselves dry. But it basically just kind of like looks like my feathers are like fluffing up a little bit as I'm speaking into someone's mind, kind of like static electricity, sorta.
Fun. Love that.
Short Rib asks in Dr. Mozaeya's head is like, can you talk to me?
Can I answer back psychically?
No, they can only speak to you.
Oh.
They can't reply, I don't think.
Let's
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that it's that you can't.
I can only talk to you. Mind you, Shorib is just kind of like recounting the day in your head now, but like on the outside is like fully puffed up, eyes like shining, like, and then we came here.
And then guess what?
You're gonna have the worst. You had a. I think,
but very softly.
When like going back to when Dr. Mozaeya said, do they have like anything other? Why do we not have anything outside of our records? I think Pet definitely looks to Div and just smiles at them.
I think Div returns the smile, and they respond in Pink Balloon Can as well that I'm surprised that they don't have shit on us. I'm actually floored by that. Great news, though. I was completely sure that you know what? They could be lying.
They're probably really good liars. They run a government.
You don't understand this. Because we're
but
talking
never mind.
We're like, it sounds like we're just talking in a
Then in
heaven.
that case, the document said, say, speaking of, I would like at least some kind of like handbook on like the maneuvers, because when you called out like maneuver 24 back at the fog cloud, I'd like to know what direction to run in. That would be very cool and very nice.
I can help. I can do a backflip. And then
pauses in their conversation
and then I do a backflip.
Dexterity check or acrobatics check.
No way you can do a backflip, and I'll bardically inspire them.
Yes. Like a 10. But a hard fought 10. Wait. 12.
12.
A 12, and remember, I'm a sweet baby.
DC was only a 10, darling.
Let's
You beat
go.
it either way.
I do the most average backflip you've ever seen.
Honestly and truly, the fact that you didn't faceplant as a child bird is pretty spectacular. So well done, you.
Middling
It's
gift
the
in
most
the world.
average of backflips, and what an honor, you know?
Div claps. They're like, that's really impressive, Short Rib.
Short Rib is breathing so hard.
We'll get some water. There's some water in the fridge. And then I think they turn to look at Doc and is like, we're not there yet.
Yeah, fair enough.
So as you guys are talking, Pet and Div, all of you actually get a message from Astra. It's a voice note. And honestly, this one is closer to like a hologram because it's got like the little audio waveform hovering above the communicator. And Astra is asking, hey, where the hell are you guys? I thought you were on map at 66. Did you go into the dome? I can't find you. And like basically just freaking the fuck out because you guys are not on map at 66 anymore.
No, they will like type out using the bathroom BRB, think about it, and then just backspace and delete it before they
Oh my God.
I'm like, I know I want to respond so badly, but the actual knowing that they're in a situation that they don't understand just yet. I know how came through. I think Pet is going to not answer at all for Solak's safety. Just in case. And I think I just say automatically, don't answer to everyone.
Short Rib was getting their grubby little fingers out to start typing something. So they stopped.
I hate leaving Ash.
I
hate
know.
leaving her out like this, but
I know. I said
it's for the best.
I think like are you saying this out loud?
Yeah, I say that out loud.
And
there is a possibility.
like
I mean, it's
no
very likely that she's
contact.
going to look for you, and she seems pretty good at finding you. And I
She's
doubt-
smart though.
Yeah,
She wouldn't come here.
That's fair.
But then Viv is internally thinking like, I would come here, so I really don't fucking know.
I think because all the fact that I don't know how how she found out. I know she had like the information on the pads, but
Yeah,
if
she
we're
came
here
from
long
Iceland.
enough, we maybe have, and we do some things.
Yeah.
Maybe she can pick us up.
That's
Like
kind of
honestly,
why-
we could get like some disposable phones and tell her about the summit, and you know what I mean, like fucking break those type of. You know how they used to do old movies, like get a little phone from Walmart, commune their message, and then they break the phone so it can't get tracked. I don't know if we can do like the space equivalent of that shit, but when we're not in the Haven, maybe we'll be able to just get in contact with her.
When there is a chance, I would like to speak with Pet in private. Doesn't have to be now, just can be later.
I looked. I'm like, Pat just looks up. Just looked at them and it says, "You can speak now."
Kind of looks at Div and also Short Rib.
Div is looking at the both of you, and I think Div will ask Pet, "You want me to go?"
Are there like other rooms in the apartment, Alex?
Yeah, it's a big apartment. It's basically like a house. They gave you a house. It just so happens to be a pod, you know?
Yeah.
I think they shoot in our thieves can't. Let's see. I'll see what she wants to talk about. If anything comes up, you know what to do.
They nod.
Maneuver 22.
Absolutely. They nod. And they look at Short Rib and they say, "You want to go shopping?"
Short Rib's eyes widen. They're like, "With you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Together with us.
Yeah. Let's go."
Let's go.
And is running past you.
Yeah, well, I think Div will call out. I'm gonna look around the Haven, see what's around.
Pat's just still cleaning his gun and just glances up at Mozaeya and then goes back down to clean his gun and say, "What is it?"
What's your deal, if you're comfortable sharing?
Pat pretty much kind of like clicks his gun again and just kind of like take it apart. Pat looks at Dr. Mozaeya and kind of tilts their head up and, "What do you want to know?"
I suppose the most pressing would be your history with the IOC, if any, or your history with authoritarians, or whatever made your face look like that in the room earlier with them and with the prospect of working with them.
Pat does like a very heavy sigh and searches through their mind, thinking about what they want to tell Dr. Mozaeya. And kind of makes it like a piece, kind of not like he doesn't want to tell anybody. Truthfully, the only person who he wants to, like, it maybe come in pieces, but the only person he really trusts right now is Div. And right now in this moment, to see that Doc is asking why he cracked in that moment is like, how can I explain this? And that won't say much. Pat sighs and looks up.
If you make it feel any better, I'm pretty much legally bound not to tell anyone, doctor-patient privilege and all that.
Can we cut the doctor crap right now?
That's another thing. I'm not a quack doctor. I'm a doctor, and I'd appreciate it if you addressed me.
I don't believe you.
I understand that I lie about a lot of things, but I sacrifice parts of myself that I will never get back to get a stupid piece of paper, and I endured wounds both figurative and literal that I will never heal from. So I'd appreciate it if I don't have to be in yet another space where people question the validity of my degree.
Deception or persuasion for you, Dr. Bleak. Insight for you, Pat.
Yeah, because I'm literally trying to now. Me questioning you is basically dodging the question.
That's okay, baby.
Okay, and I have to do insight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got 13.
13. What we got, Dr. Bleak?
I got a 19 plus 8 on persuasion.
27. So, Pet, you have zero reason to believe that Dr. Bleak is not telling you the truth.
Well, at least know that
Yeah.
The title of doctor is maybe it is part of their identity.
Yeah.
I think they kind of look up at you and takes a moment, take you in, and just begrudgingly say, I am sorry. And that coming from me.
I appreciate that. I understand. Your skepticism.
Not.
Yes, I lie a lot. And yeah, I understand the skepticism. I've just had a lot of experience around people who don't consider me a real doctor. And I am. And that can be a bit of a button sometimes.
Does anything happen with their coat when I question them?
What's happening with the coat, Dr. Bleak?
I think the coat is pretty calm at the moment, actually.
Okay.
But yes, whatever you feel comfortable saying, I'll be transparent. My current plan is to play along with the IC until I see a moment to stab them in the back and dismantle everything they've built. And I don't think it has occurred to me until now that not everyone is as comfortable compartmentalizing and playing along with something that they don't necessarily believe in.
The pet just says, the IOC has destroyed a part of my life that I will never get back. So working with them, I do not want to say much because we don't know in what capacity that they know or listen to us. But this is insufferable being here. Every second I am here, the more and more I want to destroy things.
Mozaeya will kind of nod slowly. I think my brand of destruction is very, very different from yours. I think I'm getting used to that. And she kind of stands up. I am not good at fighting, and you are. And it is my professional opinion that if I'm going to stay in this group, I'm going to need to get better at fighting. And so I was wondering if you would not mind helping me with that when you have a few spare moments.
Oh my God. It's like shopping for a pet. It's like, he's like, do you want a weapon?
I have weapons. And she'll just kind of like...
that's crap. That's crap. I can make better weapons. I can see what you got, but this baby right here, even if showing off his gun, basically, we need something nice and easy for you to take apart and to he's like so excited I'm now thinking about weaponry for you. That's like, you just changed the subject. He's like, yes, this is it. And he is like more noticeably like a little bit more brighter. Even if he still feels like shit in this situation.
So from there, we will go to Div and Short Rib. Where do you go? What do you look for?
Is there like a district where it's like a collection of businesses, or like are we in like a neighborhood area, or?
Well, what you're in, for all intents and purposes, it is an apartment building that is indoors, right?
Okay.
So you're in a long hallway with separate pods on either side of the door, right? And you're in that corridor. the astral elf that like led you guys to your pod and showed you where your things were and everything, that astral elf is still outside. And she looks over at you now and she goes, "Can I help you?"
Oh God, are you just always here?
Yeah, I'm the concierge here.
Okay. Can you tell us about what the fuck there is to do here? Like, is there like a shopping center? What's the deal?
Oh, sure. There's plenty of places to shop in Haven. Or you can bounce over to the next star system and go to the big mall there. There's like a weapons depot and really nice potion shops and clothing districts and that. It's a lot of fun.
Where at?
At the mall, there's a weapons depot.
Yeah.
Short Rib looks up at Div with big old bucket watery eyes.
The orbs in Div's eyes are stars, so we're on the same page.
So, are we gonna call this the Mall of the Stars? The biggest in the cluster over here, because like Mall of America.
Oh my God!
The Mall of the Stars, Wildspace Emporium. So okay, this is where you guys are. You guys are at the Aegis right now, and the next star system over is Phelan. And that is where the big like shopping center is. They do have there are like little like corner store equivalent type shit here. And because you guys are working with the IOC, you do have the option of going through requisitions to get the kind of weapons and stuff that you would want or need. If you're trying to buy something outside of the stronghold as a general rule, you can go to the shopping districts in Haven. There are a few different mom and pop shops all over the place here. And there are like small shopping districts in that here as well. But the majority of the shopping is done on Phelan because it's so close.
Phelan.
And it's like right away from Galaxia X1. So like that, and that is a major hub for the Hyades sector. So Phelan is where a lot of the exports go.
Well then, yeah. Short Rib knows about a fucking, oh God, you guys don't know about Jeepers. For those listening, Jeepers is an in-mall, like a amusement park in Ohio, in a mall that's been closed down. But it's basically like a Jeepers kind of a situation. That is like
haunted.
Bigger and baby. Yes, that's bigger and better and brighter than anything that they've ever heard of. So Short Rib is like absolutely just like, you want to go to the mall? Can we go to the mall?
Yeah. You can absolutely fucking go to I want to go to the mall. I feel like Pet would also really fuck with a weapons depot, so maybe we should go back and get everybody else to go.
Oh yeah. Can we they have a ship, right? We can text them and meet them there.
That's a good idea. Go ahead and shoot them a text message.
Doing that.
And then, Div will turn back to the concierge and ask, where... How can I word this question to not be suspicious? Okay, so the building we just came out of before we got to the apartments, what is the name of that building? And is it a thing where, all the important buildings are in, that section of the Haven, or not? I keep saying the Haven, but I'm meaning the Aegis,
the stronghold.
Yeah, the stronghold, or how does it work?
Okay, so the concierge looks at you and goes, "Oh right, so you guys are the new hires. Okay, so the stronghold functions. It looks like a wheel from up top." And where you just came from was the nucleus. That's the center hub of the stronghold. But there are hallways all around and through it, so that way you can go around without having to go through the nucleus itself. Mm-hmm. So you can get to the different shopping districts by going down any of the hallways here. There are maps, and They have like "you are here" signs and such. The stronghold's pretty big, so the IOC the leaders decided to make it easier to find things. But I can actually lead you to wherever it is you're trying to go. It's almost, my shift is almost done, and Dallas is coming soon. So.
Oh, well, no, it's fine. We'll find our way. Thanks for the help. And I think Div will grab a map, and they'll probably grab 2 and check with Short Rib. Did you send them those text messages?
Short Rib has absolutely done that and is like vibrating, trying to get them to start coming to the door.
I think that then with that, Div will start making their way with Short Rib towards the ship.
Okay. So let me just ask really quickly, Dr. Bleak and Pet, you guys get a text message from Short Rib saying that there is a huge shopping center on Phelan and they want to go shopping. There's a weapons depot, there are maps, all that good fun stuff. All the information that you just got was relayed to you via Short Rib's text.
What does Short Rib's text look like?
Deeply misspelled. Incredibly misspelled. Basically, like, going number 2 mall, period, exclamation point, smiley face, gonna get, gun emoji, gun emoji, gun emoji. Other stuff there too. Other stuff there, number 2, period, exclamation point. And then they accidentally hit the text to speech or the voice to text, and it just picked up whatever it was that they were telling Div about.
Love that.
So that's the message that you get from Short
Very
Rib.
coherent. It's super
Very coherent, yeah.
I'm just looking. I think Pet's just looking at it. I'm like,
we should probably, and Mozaeya will just like get her coat and like leave the room and start heading towards the mall.
Go.
Yeah,
let's go, Doctor.
And like, at being Doctor, like Mozaeya is turned around, but like she does smile, and yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
And as you guys walk out of,
you'll never get it.
Do it.
One day. I'm telling you, it could be today.
Not once.
Can I get an insight about
the smile? Sure.
Yes.
Against deception or persuasion, don't tell us which.
Oh well, I got 12. I'm gonna get it one day. I'm telling you.
Nope. You don't see shit. You don't see shit about the smile. Stoic as ever. No emotions. No feelings.
we the stoic bitches.
Exactly.
So as the two of you sort of
children.
So as the two of you sort of walk out of the apartment, you see Div and Short Rib have barely made it up the hallway, so you can see them and, follow along. And as you guys are all walking to the ship, that's where we're going to leave it for today. And we'll pick up next time going to Phelan.
Shopping episode 7, baby. Shopping episode. Let's go.
I'm so excited. That's exciting.
Space capitalism.
Because I gotta say something. Because I was like,
oh yeah.
Mozaeya and Pat talking.
They'll have to catch it on roll for thickness. Bye, y'all.
Hey y'all, it's Blue. I played Div, your favorite chaotic android. And if you enjoyed this episode, you can show us some love by writing us a review wherever you're listening to us on. And if you're looking for more BaddieBards because you just love us so much, you can find all our social links in our description. We are here. Bye y'all.